Thank you, Dina. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. CELA is very popular in Afghanistan and very close to heart of every alumni. So, Mr. Marjan, who will be one of our key speakers today, he comes from CELA 8. So if we count the number of years, but he is still an active member of CELA. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. And especially in this era that every day I wake up and I see a new news related to AI. Somehow all of our social media, the news outlets, and everywhere it's just AI. So whatever you talk about, it is somehow connected to AI. So we thought that maybe in this industry sessions, we can talk about the importance of AI in education and then connect it to the business, because we know that once by arrival of ChatGPT, the very first shock went to the universities because there were a lot of news around that this will separate students from critical thinking. This will actually make cheating easy for the students. And then we know that this kind of panic is a problem. And when there is a problem, there is always a business opportunity, because problem and opportunities are the two sides of a single coin. And that's why we also have here with us Farshid Ghyasi, who is a business tycoon in Afghanistan. And he has been an inspiration to myself that I started my business, Aris, and lots of others. And then we have Aimal, who has been working on different ICT and IT projects in Afghanistan up to the level of Deputy Minister for ICT, but also now helping a lot of developing countries with his advices on building IT infrastructure and policies. So I don't want to take much of the time. I will hand over first to Aimal and then to Farshid to give a brief introduction of themselves, and then we can kick off with the session.
Thank you, Didar Sahab. Indeed, it is a pleasure to be part of CELA for all these many years, and especially CELA Afghanistan, close to heart, all the good friends and the network. Though I'm a bit absent from the international CELA, that's a bit of my busy schedule in life that I am pursuing. As Didar mentioned, I've been working with the ICT sector for the past 20 years, plus years, and recently been involved helping a couple of countries in the Pacifics on their ICT and digital transformation policies. And glad to be presenting some views on AI in education in this session. Thank you, Didar sir.
All right, Farshid Jan, please.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all friends all around the world. My name is Farshid Ghyasi, and I'm a CELA 12 alumni. I have been involved in the Afghanistan's ICT sector since 2003, 2004, pretty much a few years later than Marjan said. And right now I'm living in the US.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Now, let's get into the business. We know that AI is transforming everything, and especially education sector, which is also a kind of panic. At the same time, we see that there can be a lot of opportunities around. So let's talk about the big picture of AI's role in education. So I will start with you, Aimal. What's your take on how AI is going to transform the education sector?
Thank you, Didar sir, once again. Let's take a moment to step back in time and explore how this incredible technology, the artificial intelligence, which is shaping our world today, actually came into existence. Arthur Samuel, who was a computer scientist back in 1952, he actually developed a program called to play checkers. And we all know checkers. I think we have played checkers, one of our beloved board games. So this was one of the earliest examples of machine learning. And then a few years later, another professor by the name of John McCarthy in 1955, he actually the very first time tossed the term artificial intelligence. So his vision was to create machines that could reason, think, and even understand human languages. So how back then the computational power required to run such huge AI algorithms was far beyond what was available at that time. So as a result, AI went a little bit quiet for a while, but then in 1990s, and with the advancement in machine learning, neural networks, AI started making a comeback. Maybe most of our friends might recall Deep Blue. Back in 1997, IBM came up with a chess-playing AI called Deep Blue, and which defeated the world-class chess champion at that time. So that was a game-changing moment, proving that AI could outperform humans in complex tasks. And from there, the race to push AI further started. So everyone is familiar with Alexa. I think that we use Alexa or similar tools, which were launched in 2014. And that marked a major step in AI-powered virtual assistants. And then robotics, automation, deep learning, research, and all that continued and it accelerated. But on the biggest breakthrough which came, as Ghyasi you mentioned earlier, and that was in 2022, and that was the release of ChatGPT. This AI demonstrated exceptional capabilities in natural language understanding and generating, so making AI more accessible than ever before. Today, AI is transforming nearly every industry, be it healthcare, finance, manufacturing, transportation. So how can AI revolutionize the way we learn, teach, and grow? And that is how it will help us with the education sector. So as we explore the impact of AI on education, it's important that we a bit understand how we got here. So in 1960s, the very first computer-assisted instruction, we call it CAI, were introduced. It was an innovative approach at that time, where large, expensive mainframe computers, we all are familiar with the history of the mainframes. Those computers were used to deliver these instructional materials. But however, due to the high cost, only a few institutions could afford that technology at that time. But as computers became smaller and more affordable, digital learning slowly became more accessible. By late 80s, early 90s, we saw the rise of these ITS, the intelligent tutoring systems, which we can say that they were the early AI-powered tutoring programs that provided personalized learning experiences. These systems could adjust lessons based on student responses. It was the start of the developing adaptive learning tools that we see today. But then the actual thing started, and that was the boom of internet in the late 90s, early 2000. We saw a rapid expansion of new learning models. E-learning and distributed learning became powerful tools, which were offering a perfect platform to implement these ITS or CAIs concepts on a larger scale. And now, here we are in the age of AI. Didar, every morning we see something new, of course. So in this age where education is really undergoing another major transformation, AI is not just an emerging technology, it's a driving force behind all this innovation across industries. In fact, education rank among the top 10 industries which are being revolutionized by the artificial intelligence. AI is transforming classrooms by introducing personalized learning, adaptive platforms, intelligent tutoring systems. It's helping even the administrative tasks. So one of the biggest contribution to education is the individualized learning. Imagine an education system where each student gets customized lessons tailored to their strengths, their weaknesses, their learning style. So AI power platforms can do exactly that, which is which we imagine only with all the resources that we have at the moment. But how wonderful will it be to have a tutor which is available 24/7 to you, which offers immediate feedback to you, which guides you and help you with your performance and needs. So these tools, the AI tools, they just close learning gaps and enhance the conceptual understanding. But the question can be that is AI only for students? No, it's also making life easier for teachers. With AI tools, educators can generate lessons, plans, quizzes, study materials, videos, and images, just like that. I mean, a fraction of time. That means less time spent on preparing work and more time for meaningful teaching. So AI can help track student automate grading, which helps save time for teachers so that they can focus more on their teaching methodologies, and it helps both students, and at the same time it helps those schools which have limited resources. So, but beyond the classroom, AI is helping administrators run academic institutions efficiently. Just like imagine if a system that can analyze data for you and help the administrator schedule classes, for example, summer classes based on parents' preferences, or optimize resources or predict enrollment trends. This kind of automation allows school leaders to focus more on big picture of strategy, rather than getting stuck with the paperwork that we have. Another big issue is the communication with students, and AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants makes that communication much that helps students and parents and teachers to get their answers quickly. So now, if you're wondering just how big AI education is, let's talk some numbers, because we are talking about the business or the industry. In 2024, the global AI in education market was valued at 5.8 billion. But there is a very optimistic view that it will reach to 32 plus billion by 2030. That's a big chunk. I think Mr. Ghyasi will give us a more in-depth view on what's happening in the industry. So the AI-driven solutions that can think learning platforms, or that can those are learning facilitators or adaptive learning platforms. Those are almost 46% of this whole AI in education market. The service segment is predicted to foresee a significant market share during the forecast that by 2030. Why is this happening? Because schools and institutions are really doubling down on AI-powered tools, the intelligent tutor systems or the chatbots or learning analytics. It is incredible how things are changing. Just 5 years ago, everyone was buzzing about or talking about or debating about the e-learning, but now we are in a completely different trend, and that is the AI, and especially with the launch of the ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT EDU or for the education sector. Then all the other models like the Gemini, the Llama 3 or GPT, universities, academias, the businesses are unlocking the whole new level of the education. Imagine if in the next few years we could see e-learning platform that adopt in real time how each student will learn. AI tutors that provide meaningful one-to-one support, any administrative task support that can be automated. So the combination of generative AI in education, not just a trend, it's actually a long-term transformation. We are just starting with, and we are just moving with it. And one other important aspect of the Gen AI is that making education more accessible, inclusive. It's not just about adopting a different learning style. It's about breaking down the barriers. For students with physical or learning disabilities, AI-powered tools are already making quite good change and difference in the world. For example, if we take speech text-to-speech platforms, these technologies can really help those who are with disabilities. Let's say a student who struggle with traditional reading. So with text-to-speech, they can have their all material read aloud to them. Or a student who faces difficulty writing, speech-to-text lets them express their thoughts verbally and write it down in real time. So these innovations are just helpful. They are empowering. So AI is creating opportunity for every learner to succeed, regardless of their challenges. And as these technologies continue, we can expect classroom to become even more inclusive and supportive. So this rapid growth isn't just about having cool techie or tools in the classroom. It's about transforming education in a way that actually meets students' needs. So with AI evolving rapidly, the question now is, how do we harness its power responsibly in the education sector and industry? Thank you. Over to you, Didar Saab.
Thank you very much, Aimal. That was a very eye-opening things that we learned here from you. I know AI is evolving every day. Maybe next month, if we have the same topic here, you will have a lot of more things to tell us.
Yes.
But yeah, these were very important things to share. Yeah, and of course, this in the like the personal assistant to both teachers and to both students. This is something that I think I just found something here, the two sigma problem, which was brought in 1984 by Benjamin S. Bloom. He was showing the distribution of achievement by students through different learning models. And he shows that the highest is from tutorials. It means when someone has a one-to-one tutor. So now that ChatGPT provides that, and I think that that's very important. At the same time, at the teacher's level, we can see that each teacher can have a stand. Let's say they have a topic that they want to break it into very easy step and slowly go to the main concept. Now, I think if you provide it to ChatGPT or any other language model, this can be done very easily, while in the past it has been a huge problem.
Yes.
All right, so now moving to with these all background discussions that we had here, now we are moving on to the business side of this part, and especially in our region, in the CELA region or Central Eurasia region, or maybe broader into Middle East and into South Asia. I'm bringing you on a spotlight, Farshid, with your points on the business opportunities and AI-driven education. I would like to know, how can AI transform education in our region, and what business opportunities this present?
So thank you very much, Didar Saib. It's a pleasure speaking with all friends from CELA, Bella, CELA, and other networks, and those who are joining us today to watch this. So as you mentioned, across Central Eurasia, the Middle East, South Asia, and Southeast Asia, the regions which all these networks represent, we all share, a common goal, which is elevating education. But we all face, different types of challenges in our region. So in Central region, we have, remote communities who struggle, with access. The Middle East are more advanced, they seek to blend modernization with tradition. And in South Asia, due to, large population, where they have the challenge of educating large number of population, efficiently, while in Southeast Asia, they navigate through a mosaic of, languages and culture. Now, how can, AI help us with all this. So AI offers a very powerful answer for this. As Marjan have also mentioned in his part of the speech, that AI can help us, personalize learning for students in overcrowded classrooms. AI can, provide virtual tutors, for remote learners, and break down all the language barriers that existed right now. Most of, the technology-related materials that we study, they are mostly in English. But with AI now, we can have those materials translated to our classroom, or even, individually to individual learners through AI-driven tools. Today, I will outline. There are many, many where opportunities for AI-driven education technology exist, but I'll be focusing only on five major areas. And these five major areas are specifically tailored, for our region. Number one is the personalized learning platform. In in regions of South Asia, classrooms are usually larger, like cities like Delhi or Dhaka or other places, in South Asia. Usually, on average, there are 50 students, per teacher. And with AI, it can actually analyze the student's strengths, their weaknesses, their pace of learning, and deliver them, customized learning solutions for them. And also, in places like in Central Asia, in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, or Tajikistan, the same content and material could be localized in local languages as well. Now, what business opportunities exist in this is to develop subscription-based platforms which are priced really affordable for these regions. In India, if many of you may be familiar, they have an e-learning or online learning platform called Bijou, and which is right now actually valued at over 20 billion. They started providing tutoring services and individualized learning stuff, but now they're utilizing AI as well heavily, in their system. Second is AI-powered, language tools. As Marjan, we have a lot of content available on different subjects, on science, technology, and everything, mostly in English. And a lot of times, people in our region, they are kind of left behind from utilizing all those resources. Now we can develop tools that can automatically, translate all those materials and present them in local language in a region like in Kazakh or in Uzbek language, or in Pashto, Dari, Urdu, Malay, all the way from Central Asia to Southeast Asia. We can also see, some examples like this company called Duolingo. They have like more than 500 million users worldwide. So we could develop solutions like that, in our region. Third is automated, grading or empowering teachers. AI can not only be useful for students; it can also be useful for teachers. It can actually help the teachers reduce the time it takes for them to deliver their teachings. And as part of teaching is tests and assignments and getting all those stuff graded and grading and all those stuff done. So AI tools can help. AI tools could develop to provide to schools where teachers are helped, automating, most of their tasks that usually actually take a lot of time. And countries like, let's say, Pakistan or even Afghanistan, where we all know that, we have these 12 grade exams at the end grade exams. In Afghanistan, we have Concours, and in Pakistan, we have metric exam. Now, grading large number of students for these exams is usually very time consuming. But if we have, these AI powered tools, it can actually help reduce the time and make the gradings, more accurate, and actually reduce sometimes, corruption in grading people or marks of people who don't deserve it, or messing around with that. Now, these type of systems can very easily be developed and sold to educational institutions or to the government, who may need this. Another very important area where I see good business opportunities is these virtual tutors. Uh, Virtual tutors, can usually when you go to school, you only have limited number of hours in the school, especially in highly populated. We have somebody's mic, I think, on. Anyway, so virtual tutors, development of these virtual tutors to provide STEM education or language or any specific, like software development and all these stuff, um, is also a great, where we can invest and we can develop solutions and sell it, especially in countries with high population with a very small, subscription fee. We can make these happen. And then, as Marjan have also put some light on into this as well, that we can also develop, administrative automation tools that could be used in school operations or getting administrative stuff done in the education sector and all that. Now, these are just very few of the business opportunities that we can think of right now, but um, there are hundreds of other possibilities, and they all depend on the region. So the best thing is, like, we look around us, we find where all these educational institutions or people are lagging or facing challenges, and to address those challenges, there definitely AI can build a solution. And the best part of AI is that now you don't have to only rely on technical people to help you develop these solutions. We have really advanced AI tools that actually can allow normal ordinary people like us to formulate our ideas, and even until this developing the whole product can be done by normal people like us. So these are some of the stuff that I thought I should share with all of you and could be useful to provoke some thoughts and work on these solutions for your community. So thank you, Didar Sahab.
All right, Farshid, thank you very much for giving us these insights on where the opportunities lie. And yeah, definitely. There are many things around that can be done. Now that we covered the policy part, the opportunity parts, and the business part, I know that especially in our regions with the limited facilities, I know some of the countries have good facilities in our region, some are still struggling. Especially, we have one question in the chat box as well related to the internet limitation in countries like Afghanistan. So would like to also put light on the challenges and roadblocks toward these opportunities, especially for entrepreneurs in our region or for institutions in our region to make best use of AI. And both of you can have your point of views accordingly, one by one.
So, Marjan, you want to go ahead or
You,
go ahead? So, we know that connectivity in countries like Afghanistan, connectivity has been a challenge. Um, but things are getting better, I think, in Afghanistan when it comes to connectivity. And the best thing is that a lot of these AI solutions do not require, like, heavy connectivity or heavy bandwidth to get to utilize these, because a lot of those heavy computational stuff is done on the cloud, the service providers, um, systems, and small chunk of data is communicated to the end user. Um, we also see the development. I and Marjan sahib was actually talking about this yesterday as well, that we have all these new systems, like Starlink from Starlink, the terminals, they are now functional in Afghanistan, although not permitted yet, but they technically they do work. and they provide extremely cost-effective internet services to customers anywhere, in Afghanistan, literally at a fraction of cost of what they're paying. So I'm definitely sure that other companies like Amazon and with others coming up with their connectivity solutions for rural areas, the problem of connectivity will eventually, will be minimized. And second, the best part is that a lot of these AI tools, they can be run on local devices as well. So I'm definitely sure that coming years, a lot of these smartphones, which will eventually become very cheap as well, as we can see, will come equipped with all these AI tools or with ability to run smaller, language models or AI solutions in these devices itself. So that should, take care of, problems. These are some of, the technical stuff that I thought of. Maybe Marjan sir could add more onto this.
Let me unmute myself. Thank you. Didar Sab, when it artificial intelligence, I mean, one is the area that we are familiar with, and that is the chat GPT or any other like that. But one is the AI itself. Let's say that ChatGPT runs on platforms like the large language models, the LLMs. Now, the LLM is something. It's a model. It's an algorithm on top of that. And what you can do is ChatGPT has trained the whole platform on a huge amount of data, the whole internet. I mean, what they say. Now, let's say for a small institution, there's a health facility, or there's a education institution, or there's another organization. They don't need to run their LLM on the whole of internet data. But yes, if they want to learn the LLM and train the LLM only on their institution-related data, that data is not like in gigabytes or huge data. That could be a small data. So they can train a localized AI platform and train it their own data, and then utilize it the way we are utilizing ChatGPT at the moment. So going back to what Mr. Ghyasi mentioned, we can do a local AI hosting because at the moment we think that the whole AI is ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is running on top of the AI platforms or the LLMs. I mean, that's where we have to deep dive a bit and understand how LLM works. And that takes your data, breaks it. So if you give a data which is related to your institution or to your domain area to that LLM, and then use the algorithm which OpenAI is using, which we call ChatGPT or DALI or any others, I think then you don't need huge processing power. That's one. Second, as Ghyasi mentioned, that yes, if we are using the already proven international platforms, all of their processing is done on their premises, and we only get the last result and we get the result. The rest of the computing power is happening at the back. But in countries, not only Afghanistan, but in our region, that's the one big opportunity to invest, and that is companies can come and invest in edge computing. And that's where can bring the data most to the processing more to the source. If there's anything happening in a city, which is in Tashkent, let's say, in Kabul or in Baku, anywhere. So the edge computing can bring that technology to the user and connect it back to the main facility. So that could be taken care by similar technological solutions. But coming back to more challenges, I mean, there was a very good question by Shulpan that if a student is an AI and at the same time the teacher is also AI, how will this whole thing work? I think then they are living in their own world, and let us live in our own world, because the challenge becomes, Shulpan, when a student interacting with a teacher or with a student, then that's where the challenges are. And challenges are, we all are familiar with, and the deep fakes. That is one big challenge that we are really the moment facing. And these deepfake, if you look at the videos or pictures generated last or early 2024, and then what you see early this year, there's a huge improvement in quality. So imagine what happens next year or the next year. So how the deepfake can become a reality. So that is one big challenge that we are having. Fraud becomes a big challenge when it comes to the education sector, and that's where I think your comment also implies in that how can we then find out that what is the reality. There's another challenge at the moment with these AI systems. They call it hallucination. I mean, the AI, they get confused with their own thought process. So that's why that use these AI platforms, but do not rely completely on them. You have to still take your sweet time, look at the result, and check it. So you take it and put it in production in whatever way. So because there's still this AI gets into this drunk hallucination mode. So that's something that we have to look at. One big challenge, which is all across, not only with the developing countries or developed countries, it's all across, and that is the privacy. There's a huge discussion going on. Recently, there was a conference in Paris where countries who are kind of leading the AI race, they were together to discuss that there should be regulations around it. Because what happens, whatever you give AI at the moment, I mean, if you're chatting with ChatGPT, with Gemini, or any other, or Grok, or any other, whatever you're giving to them, that goes straight into their memory. And that's where the challenge is, that if you're feeding everything, I mean, you're just enjoying your chat with that AI agent. At the same time, whatever data you're giving, that goes into their memory. And that's where it is at the moment, that they're thinking, what should we do with that? How can that be done? And which is a challenge, because the big two giants, US and UK, they did not let's say the treaty or declaration, the final decision of the summit, because they think that no, we still should allow these big giants to continue developing the AI, which in one way it's good because it allows the technology to be openly developed, but at the same time there's a big risk, because all the AI is actually nurturing on top of our data, our personal, our official data, and they are actually eating that up and growing. Other challenges that are there, and let's see what this year brings, the 2025 brings to us.
All right. Thank you very much. Very insightful. And that both of the questions on the chat is already answered through our discussions. Yeah. So I think if we close it, what I could take away here is that, yeah, we should use AI, but not fully trust it. We should always have our brain on top of what AI is producing for us. And that's very important. Yeah, we should allow students to use AI, but teachers and parents help them how to use AI to make sure that they're really learning something. And business opportunities, there were many of them, but I think personal tutor in assistance, translation of educational materials, helping institutions do the administrative work with AI, and helping teachers in doing their job better are some of the opportunities around. And also the challenges which was raised, they are of very concern. And I can say that the biggest challenge is that yet there is no policy around this. I know Europe has already started developing some policies on AI usage, and but now with these all development that every day happens, I hope the policy making will not be a challenge, which is right now. All right, so from here, I think we can open the floor to our audience questions. We have another 15 minutes for this call. Let's make it very interactive, and let's start by asking questions. Okay, so I see the very first hand raised. Mu'taz Azar, please with your...
Yes. Hi, Fahim. Hi, gentlemen. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the interesting talk. I'm from Mila, Jordan, and into education sector. I work in education. So my question that it's clear when we're using learning platforms or like AI tutoring, it's clear how the information and the analysis is happening. But now if we imagine a normal classroom, students sitting in a classroom with a teacher, and we're approaching AI age now. How do you imagine a classroom like in 10 years when students and kids are interacting with a teacher and trying to utilize the AI tools that are available in a normal setup or a usual classroom? I would like to hear how can you imagine things are happening. I have a follow-up question, but I'll wait for the first. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sazar. Great to have a colleague from Mela as well. To look at the whole AI arena at the moment, I mean, we are still at the very start. I mean, we'll not be able to answer what happens 5 years from now. I think we are not able to even answer what's happening end of this year, because the way things are developing, the way things are moving, because what was happening 10 years, in the past 10 years, it was human that they were developing AI. But now what's happening, the speed has doubled or tripled or even more, because AI is now assisting human to develop AI. So things are moving fast. So we don't know what will happen end of this year. But yes, one thing, there's one big in that is that with next 1 or 2 or 3 years, the functionality of jobs which deals with knowledge, that will be slowly taken over by the AI. And that is one big challenge. And we will see that how we humans will fill the gaps, those which are taken by the AI. But at the same time, in a classroom where there's a teacher and student, at the same time we have AI, I think the thinking pattern for students will really double. It will really be quick, because I used to be teaching some 20 years back for 2-3 years in Kabul University. What happens is, in most of the time, we know that our teachers are not like master of all. I mean, they have a narrow one specific area that they're trained, and they're good in that, and they go home, they prepare their notes, and they come in the morning, they deliver. So that's one pattern of our teachers. So with AI, if a student is asking for a question which the teacher is not prepared for, that both teacher and student can go to AI to help to get a AI. But that will only happen if the teacher, they don't have that ego in them that why they are going to AI. If an institution make it policy that AI is open, legal, let's encourage it, then the two teacher and student both will go towards AI to find answer to that one question where the teacher is not ready for. So that's how I think I will try to put it there, but I know that we don't have the exact answer at the moment because things are so much evolving. I hope I could just add. Thank you.
Thank you, Aimal.
I would also like to add a little bit to the answer, like how do you foresee AI in the classrooms? So imagine like right now, let's say the education institution where you are, you might be facing, problems having finding lecturers or professors for certain area. Let's say you want a native English speaker teaching English language in Jordan. If you have problems finding that with the AI, you make those problems at all. You could have a native English speaker appearing as in holographic, or students wearing a virtual reality headset and experiencing, a live teacher who may not even physically exist. It could just be, an AI bot, but teaching, understanding human emotions, and delivering, those teaching services to students in a way that students does not even realize it's a real bot. So we may see those stuff, in future in the institutions and in the educational setting.
All right, so we have few questions in the chat. Samim Alizoy is asking, what are some real life examples where generative AI has been used successfully in education to generate ROI, and what tools startups can adopt for these cases? Maybe Farshid, you can move with this question.
Yes, so I gave an example, these videos in India, where they are providing these AI chat, AI agents that provide one-to-one tutoring services to students. And I also mentioned that, that company is now valued at over 20 billion right now. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Samim Alizoy must be from Afghanistan. And coming from Afghanistan, I understand, the challenges that we have, like especially these days. We have education banned on women, on girls in Afghanistan. And one of the ways, like these young guys, they could probably work is to take the Afghan curriculum and train an AI agent on that, on all the subjects that are required to be studied in school, train that and maybe develop AI tutoring agents for girls. They could sitting anywhere in Afghanistan with with a small tablet which costs like 5-10,000 Afghanis. They could have this solution and learn the stuff that they are missing out in school in their homes.
All right, thank you, Farshid. I think the second question by Samim was also responded in your. I see that Bell also has a question, Marjan Saib. How will AI disrupt the current ecosystem for delivering education with teachers and students in physical school and university?
Indeed, it will disrupt. Go back a little bit when I remember calculators were readily available. I mean, my parents, my teachers, even there were schools that they were having ban on calculator to their math class. Don't bring calculator because then you will you will lose and you'll not be able then to understand multiplication and division and things like that. Even now, in some of the math classes, they don't allow to bring calculator. But then the calculator became a mainstream. It is helping everyone to move, and I think the AI will soon education ecosystem. And it definitely will the way we are at the moment delivering, where teacher is the sole source towards the student. AI students more active, wiser, but at the same time, yes, we need the policies around it. That how can we take care of the fraudulent use of AI, because we don't want them to be lazy. It should be an assistive tool to make their thinking pattern to have more that they should be able to think more in a positive way. But of course, there will be all the examples that Ghyasi mentioned. Those can be added to the ecosystem policy wise, and as early if our education industry prepare the policies and adopt and accept AI, that would be much more positive rather than AI making their way to the classroom and to the teachers, to the students' learning process.
All right. Thank you very much. It was fruitful discussion from the beginning to till now. So we have only 6 minutes more left to this call. If we can take one more question and then maybe we can have some final thoughts from both of you. Is there any other question?
I
Okay, we have one in the chat. It's for you, Farshid John. In your
Yeah,
opinion, what
I
are the
was
biggest
reading the question.
opportunities?
I it's very difficult these days, to talk about certain sensitive issues when it comes to Afghanistan, and especially when you have linked to Afghanistan. So I'm not sure, how we would convince the government, because the world hasn't been able to convince the Afghan government yet with this. So I don't know if we as individuals could convince. It's going to be a long way to convince them, but I'm definitely sure that eventually, once those in the government in the coming years realize that the ban on women education, how much it has hurt even personally or directly themselves, they may probably then, rethink this. Or with AI, since, education is delivered at home for women, uh, gov government should be convinced that, it shouldn't be a problem if women get education at homes at their own pace. These are challenges, but I think awareness has to be made, to the government and families. I don't really think that as long as major cities in Afghanistan is concerned, families are right now dying to get their women or their daughters educated. I don't think we need to do any awareness. Just as as as, as soon as these families they know that such a solution exists, I'm definitely sure that they would come running uh, to get these solutions for their daughters or for women to start getting education at home.
All right, thank you, Farshid. John, I see that Aimal Amiri has a question. Mr. Aimal, I would like to answer this question for you. I think when we are talking about internet, when we are talking about AI, just let's not bound ourselves with the boundaries that we have in our own region. Because maybe you are a good developer, but right now you don't have the right customers in our region to develop for them the AI agents or whatever piece of software that will be built on AI platform, on AI infrastructure. I think the world is open now through the internet, through these all freelancing opportunities, and especially after the COVID, the boom of remote jobs. I think that's something that we should take opportunity, use it as an opportunity, provide our services to the broader audience in all parts of the world. Develop that kind of agents which can be used in different parts of the world. I know payment will be a challenge as it has been so far, but I'm very happy to see that right now platforms like from I think one of our friends, Sanzar Cocker, has developed a platform which now can accept payments from outside Afghanistan. So, Farshid, do you remember the name of the platform? I just
Okay.
forgot it. Okay, Hisab Pay,
Okay.
yes. Hisab Pay is now providing you that to accept payments from outside of the Afghanistan. It's a little bit, requires a little bit of customization, but yeah, that gives us the hope we are moving toward an era where payments will not be an issue in Afghanistan, especially from now on. And thank you very much, everyone. We are almost at the end of this session. Thank you, Dina, and all CELA headquarter members for having us today as your host and guest, both at the same time. And I really enjoyed this discussion with Farshid and Aimal. Then from the questions that we received from our audience, as a closing remark, if you guys have anything, please go ahead. Then we hand it over to Dina.
Thank you, Didar Sahib. I think my closing remark will be same that let's not hold back. Let's go and step forward, make policies, adopt AI. Do not keep it outside our arena because it will be there. It will become mainstream. So let's embrace it in advance rather than that we then tackle it as a challenge.
So I would like to say that there are immense number of opportunities available right now or will be available for AI in the education sector. We just need to study and understand what around us and where we see AI can impact and improve the processes or people's lives. And usually a lot of opportunities are found that way.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, once again for joining us.